hockey fans, well, there's been a few changes this week. For instance, the Montreal Canadiens, 3-6-1 in their last 3 games, have dropped a spot to third. I know that's not a big deal, but they're not playing very well right now. The Detroit Red Wings, they went up a spot with an 8-2-1 record, and the Tampa Bay Lightning 6-3-1, and they've lost their last game. Detroit's won 3, and the Montreal Canadiens have lost 3. Big difference there. Pittsburgh Penguins 6-3-1. They're still rolling along. They won their last game. The New York Islanders, unbelievable, 8-2-0, but they lost their last game. Washington Capitals, believe it or not, they're back in the playoffs. They only have 28 points. They're 10 points behind the Islanders in Pittsburgh, but they've won their last 2. And everybody below them is not doing so well, so they managed to squeak back in again. The Toronto Maple Leafs, 5-4-1, won their last game. They jumped up a spot. And the Boston Bruins, it's catching up to them somewhat. They've dropped down yet another spot now. They went from 3rd to 7th, and now down to 8th, 5-4-1, but they won their last game. Florida Panthers, they're in 9th place. They're only like 2 points out of being in a playoff position. This is a team that was doing horrible, and if you've seen any of their games, their fans are horrible because there's nobody there. The Ottawa Senators finally won a game tonight against the Vancouver Canucks. I watched it. It was a lot of fun, very entertaining, and pretty well, as I have been saying, it's going to take time. There's no guarantee that they're going to turn it around with this one game. Their last 10 games, 3-6-1. New York Rangers, they dropped 5 positions. They're 4-4-2. They've lost their last 2. It doesn't take much to get out of the playoffs. New Jersey Devils, they lost their last game 2-6-2. No change either for the Philadelphia Flyers. Columbus Blue Jackets have won 3 games and jumped up 2 spots and are out of the basement. They're still bad, but they're not the basement. And the Buffalo Sabres, they went from 14th to 15th. And the Carolina Hurricanes have went from the 15th to the 16th. So they both dropped 1 position. Both have lost their last 2 games. And both are still really bad. Although the Buffalo Sabres have a 6-4-0 record. But that hasn't done anything to get them out of the basement. So they're doing better. And but we'll see. They're still far from being out of the sweepstakes. And now for the Western Conference, the Chicago Blackhawks have moved from 3rd to 1st this week. 37 points, 9-1-0. They've won their last 6 games. I've seen a couple of them. They're back. The Nashville Predators, 7-3-0. They lost their last game. They're not slowing down either. Don't you worry about them, although they did drop from first place. St. Louis, still in it, strong as ever. Brodeur won his first game. They said something about it costing them $20,000. I guess that's what he makes a game. He won their last game for them. The Anaheim Ducks won their last 4, 7-2-1, 41 points. They're doing well. They've gone up a spot. Vancouver, they just lost against the Senators in overtime. They did get a point, and they've lost their last 2. And the Calgary Flames lost their last game, 7-3-0. They're still doing well. Los Angeles, 7th place, no change. And the Winnipeg Jets, no change in 8th place. They both lost their last game, 6-3-1 for Los Angeles, 5-2-3 for the Winnipeg Jets. The San Jose Sharks, I just watched them lose against Edmonton. Edmonton finally wins a game. So they've lost one. They're 5-3-2. They're in 9th place now. So 32 points. Winnipeg and Los Angeles with 33. They're still in it. Minnesota Wild, they're not out of it either at 29 points. They've gone down a spot though at 6-3-1. Their last 10, lost their last game. There's a lot of this, except for the Arizona Coyotes, which today I heard a rumor that their main buyer, the 51% guy, was opting out, and they were dumping salary and costs. So that includes front office people and maybe trading away players. We'll see what happens in the next coming weeks, whether or not that comes through. And like I said, the Edmonton Oilers with a 1-6-3 record won today. They're still in the basement, but there's hope. Until next week.